Hello, everybody. I think it's time to talk about the fact that Bloodlines 2 is definitely in development hell. Their current staff go away. Whatever happened over there is not necessarily bad. We're gonna come back to that. But when all of your major positions leave while your game has been delayed, that's not a good sign. That's a pretty bad sign. I wonder if this is gonna lead into the game being cancelled or completely rewritten, changed. I wouldn't mind seeing it rewritten, changed due to certain individuals that were on the game, but then again, they also fired all the good ones, so effectively, everybody quit! Hooray! Well, anybody important quit. There's plenty of smaller positions. Anyways, Bloodlines 2 senior narrative designer Cara Ellison has left the project. In August, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 developer Hardsuit Labs announced that they have parted ways with both lead writer Brian Mitsoda and creative director Kai Clooney. Reasons for their release weren't given, but Mitsoda suggested that it wasn't a happy split, saying that he was unaware of any problems and that his firing came as a complete surprise. Today, publisher Paradox Interactive confirmed that senior narrative designer Cara Ellison has also left the project and is no longer with developer Hardsuit Labs. Paradox declined to comment on when Ellison left the project or how will it impact the development of Bloodlines 2. People noticed that she left from her changing her Twitter profile. It was like, absolutely, no announcement, no communication, anything. She changed the Twitter profile, and that's how people noticed that she still wasn't on the project, meaning we're not even being communicated to with what the hell's happening over there, which is never a good sign. Good. Cara Ellison was responsible for Hotline Miami's ban in Australia. She was also a corrupt journalist and writer whose career rap sheet is filled with nepotism, lying, clickbait writing, and dishonest reporting. Good fucking riddance. Gave positive coverage to Fulbright Company and their game Gone Home on no less than 6 articles without disclosing her relationship with Fulbright's Steve Geyer and John the Man Nordhagen, who supported her on Patreon. Gave positive coverage to Mitsu Kandakar Kokori's game Red Shirt in 2 articles without disclosing their friendship, and the fact that Kandakar was financially supporting her on Patreon at the time. Kandakar has stated that she was contributing only a small amount, but hasn't addressed the personal relationship. Gave positive coverage to Christine Love while she was being financially supported by her on Patreon and sharing somewhat inappropriate tweets. Gave positive coverage to Nina Freeman in 2 articles without disclosing their friendship. Gave positive coverage to text adventure developer Porpentine in at least 5 articles without disclosing their friendship. Gave positive coverage to Anna Anthropy in 4 articles and blog posts without disclosing their friendship. Started a moral panic about a 4-second scene in Hotline Miami 2, spending the majority of her hands-on preview claiming that this problematic, upsetting scene made her feel betrayed and unsafe in her safe space, and quoting discredited statistics. Often called rape scene, the scene not only cuts before anything happens, but is immediately shown to be fictional in-universe. The controversy following Ellison's article may have contributed to instigating Hotline Miami's 2 Australian ban. My question is, what is a person like this doing on a Vampire the Masquerade or anything World of Darkness theme to begin with, considering that it is the setting that's filled with complete and utter psychopaths. Practically nobody gets turned into a vampire willingly in the setting, and it's kinda sexual, so you could imply rape there very easily. Blood bonding exists, which makes you like a person against your will. Very much so if they're Dismitzi as well, because they can just kinda dial your blood to make you feel whatever the heck they want. It's that bad. You practically lose your free will. That's pretty goddamn awful. Furniture out of people is a thing. Is definitely a thing. Ball turn people by throwing them into a fit. filled with corpses saying that they had vampire blood in one of them. And good luck finding it. If you find before you die, congratulations. You only need to dig that up and eat the heart. It is a very brutal setting. Very depraved and brutal setting. And people like depraved. People like brutal. I love depraved and brutal because sometimes you just have to... You have to enjoy the darker paths in life the same way that you enjoy Renegade Shepherd in Mass Effect. It does not make you an awful person because that is not your real life. That is but a fantasy that you can choose to explore in multiple different ways. But the thing is, when you approach it from the angle of these things are depraved, they made me feel unsafe, therefore this is bad, you're cutting out what makes these games good to begin with. The ability, the choice to be evil and to be depraved is quite an important choice that increases replayability. The ability to interact with horrible characters and to select whether you kill them out of vengeance, leave them alive, that brings a lot of personal satisfaction if you want to be the nice guy as well. There are a lot of horrible themes that can be approached in video gaming. If a 4-second scene implying rape made her feel unsafe in Hotline Miami 2, I have a question of what was she doing exploring a universe that's wrapped in this kind of depravity. Granted, the newest books actually tried to remove all of the depravity, trying to go like, oh, Sabat has went on to fight in the Middle East against the ancients, so all of the big bads are like, gone! En masse! Together! We kinda just wanted to make this a political struggle with, yeah, there's 14th, 15th, and 16th generation of people now which are clanless, because we also didn't like putting people into clan boxes, so now you're effectively playing a strong human that sometimes can still like walk in daylight and stuff, and your main struggle should be about like how underprivileged you are in that world, and that is a fairly awful idea. Really, what World of Darkness could do is with a setting reset. Like that one nice, horrible, apocalyptic reset button where generations start rolling again, because you know what, max depravity is kinda up there. You wanna set it going again. You don't want to get to a point where you write the next book and you're like, well, in the previous one you could still start as a 9th generation. I mean, that's the highest that you can go now. You could still do, and at 14th generation you lose all of your clan stuff because you're a thin blood now, so we're kind of expecting majority of people to play as thin bloods. The next book would, if they continue it like this, would have to be, yeah, screw all the clans, you're just thin bloods, have fun, which honestly is the boring option. That's just like the toning down and going back into uber strong humanity makes it boring and uncreative, which is like the absolute opposite of what we need. So maybe if you're watching this video and you're working on these books, could you like start a new clan? For God's sakes, just hit giant reset button, figure out new awesome superpowers, start again. That would be preferable. Getting stuck playing super strong humans. If I wanted to play super strong humans, plenty of other settings that I can do that with. No, I kinda wanna be depraved and amoral, or struggle against people that are actually depraved and amoral, and yeah, that's a good thing in an RPG. you wanna have that. That is fun, for it is imagination and make-believe and not real. You don't want to do that in reality. Do you want to do that in an RPG? I don't know. Will half of the people watching this video understand this video? Because I just went on a rant about World of Darkness in general. But yeah, I don't like the direction that they're going in. And I don't think that a lot of people like it either. There is this thread on Bloodlines 2 Steam forums that I wanted to address as well. Cara Ellison has left the chat. She didn't leave because she wasn't needed anymore. Like the article speculates, the game's DLC shouldn't be finished yet, right? So wouldn't she still be kept on HSL's payroll to complete the DLC? That implies that she was either fired or quit. I'm being more on the latter. The time that elapsed between now and Mitsoda's firing is just about how long it would take her to do a slow burn and not like BL2's new direction. If PDX wanted to fire her at all, they would have done that at the same time as Mitsoda. Her lack of qualification doesn't have much to do with the fact that there's no reason to spare her for a few months after Mitsoda, only to fire her anyway. The only scenario in which that would make sense is if Paradox Entertainment kept her to rewrite a few small bits and then eliminate her when she was no longer necessary, and that whole scenario only fits if you firmly believe that Paradox is evil. I am seriously thinking of cancelling my Blood Moon Edition pre-order. What on earth is going on over there? If people important are leaving, it means something is wrong. Simple. First they kicked out Chris Avalor, then they kicked out Brian Mitsoda, now they're throwing away the leftover writers. Scorched Earth policy activated, not a good sign, to say the least. Now, I do not like the direction that the game was going in. I'm kind of skeptical about playing as a Thin Blood to begin with. But now I'm skeptical about it ever releasing ever. Good thing that I haven't pre-ordered that one. But being a huge fan, anyone from the team is watching, huge fan. But yeah, I am very, very skeptical about this game even ever going to get finished. Though if it inherits the White Wolf curse, that would be quite interesting. Where you get stuck in a development hell, the team disassembles, there's minimum skeleton crew patch the game together that's barely holding and release it while working without pay, the company sinks, the game becomes a cult classic after the fans also apply a few fan patches in order to make sure that the game works at all. That's a possible direction. I mean, that seems to be the franchise curse. But yeah, would love a nice World of Darkness old setting game, please. I kinda have high hopes for Earthblood, because being a werewolf is fun and Styx was fun, so yeah. And I wish that they would knock it off with text adventures, where I am never gonna read them anyway, and would just produce more games that would be high quality. It doesn't have to be Bloodlines. That's actually quite a high bar to live up to. You can take a different setting. How about those Romanian Tizmitsi? How many of them were there? Like what, 12? The ones that are so old that they live somewhere in the hills out there, and they're so engrossed into their little petty lives that they're completely ignoring any threat whatsoever, because they more care about what kind of comments they made about each other 20 years ago than they do about real imminent danger. How about those? There's a lot of very interesting tidbits and people and settings that you can find in these books that haven't been explored because you only explored one, which was Bloodlines. So yeah, you don't have to do that. You can go and do something entirely different. But I would enjoy if you did something, and something not overly sensitive, for this is the kind of setting that should be the opposite of sensitive, really. So yeah, thank you for listening to my humble opinion I share it because I really care. And I hope I'm gonna see you in my other videos. So, thank you for watching. If you like my content, please subscribe. And toodaloo.